Hello and welcome to another Knitting Diaries episode. Today I'm going to share with you all the things I have finished during the month of January. It's the first video for 2026, the first Knitting Diaries video for 2026, and I will share with you all my whips. I have almost 3 things finished in January, and I will explain myself later when I say I have almost 3 things finished. But I'm going to start with my cumulus blouse, which you have probably seen in a previous video. I have filmed a vlog by when I started making this pattern. I have knitted the cumulus blouse again in February 2025. I had a baby merino from Drops in an off-white color, and I knitted size 4, and I made a lot of modifications in order to fit because the yarn had nothing to do with a suggested yarn, so I had to improvise to make it fit. But I started with size 4. I ended up not wearing this garment at all because it had a lot of yellow in it. I didn't like the tone of the yarn and combined with my skin tone, and I also had this issue, like my stitches were not even, like I was knitting for the first time, and I always had in my mind that I had to reknit this pattern again. I bought, I think back in October or November, I'm not sure, I think it was November, I bought a brushed alpaca silk from Drops in color, I think it's 04, but I'm not sure. I will have the information in the description box below. It's the color, I think, almond. I gravitate usually to sky colors, not earth colors. I like blues, I like reds, I like pinks, I like those kinds of colors. I do not gravitate to earthy colors, but I wanted a mainstream garment that I could wear and combine it with trousers and skirts and things like that. So I decided to use those 2 yarns to reknit the pattern in order to make it a different color that would suit my skin tone better. So I started this pattern in the 31st of December, I'm sorry, and I have finished it almost in 20 days. And this is because I thought it would be good for me to knit it in size 4 like I did the first time. But when I completed the neck and I started making the sleeve, I tried it on and it was too big for me. So I ripped it off and I decided to knit size 3. I think I used 4.5 millimeter needles, and I also think that now even size 3 is kind of big on me. I have a lot of positive ease, it's not very fitted on me, but I don't mind. I like it this way. I feel like it's not choking me. I do not like things and garments to choke me, so I'm very pleased with it. The other thing I did different is that I saw from Candid Knit that she made her cumulus blouse with a picot edge, and I'm not a big fan of the I-cord edge because I don't think that it turns very slick on you, like your hems and your sleeves like kind of turn, and I didn't want to use the I-cord endings, so I decided to make the picot edge, and I'm very pleased with it. I think I will have to block it once or twice again, so it will be even better. I do not own block mats, which is a bummer because I think in a block mat this would turn perfect from the first time that I would block it, but that's okay. I will try it again on a towel. And I mean, it was very difficult because we had a very bad weather. It was very humid. It took like 5 days to dry it, and I do not dry my clothes inside the house. I use a dryer outside. So I hope that the next time it will get better. But I do like the picot edge because it gives something like a zhuzh to the garment. So if I was to knit it again, I would definitely try something similar. And it makes the garment like, you know, it's a very basic garment with a V-neck, and it gives like a twist that you don't get with the I-cord, I think. That's my opinion. Anyway, the I-cord works very well for some people. For me, it doesn't work very well, so I do not enjoy it. And I usually, instead of making an I-cord, I prefer making an 1x1 ribbing. But overall, I'm very pleased with the color that came out with the two yarns and with the picot edge. And I haven't worn it yet, but I think I will wear it very soon. I hope so, because somehow it's the 3rd of February and we're having a spring weather outside. It's like 18 degrees Celsius. So I feel like we will go to spring in like that. Anyway, the next finished object I have is a crochet object. I saw the new line from Cezanne, new drop, I don't know how they call it, and they had a lot of embroidered and crocheted and knitted garments. And forgive me for saying that, I'm not sure if the brands are copying the knitting designers or the knitting designers copy the brands. I'm not sure. I think it happens both. But I see a lot of patterns in Cezanne that I have seen to Ravelry for many years now. And I thought like I could replicate one of those things that make your garments and your fittings and your clothes look better. So I decided to knit a collar. I've never worn anything like that before. I'm not sure if I will wear it, but I had one skein of the baby merino that I use for my cumulus blouse, and one skein of not alpaca, I think it is silk mohair, again from Drops, kids silk mohair from Drops in a white color. And I crocheted this. You have probably seen it in a vlog before this video. I'm not sure it came out like I wanted this to come out. I want the furls here on the neck to be more furly. I don't know if you get what I mean, but overall I think it was an easy project, a stas busting project, because I have used two skeins, one skein of the baby merino and one skein of the kid silk mohair, which was pretty good for me. And overall I think I'm going to wear it. I think it will not irritate my skin because I have a very sensitive skin. I mean, if I touch myself like that right now, I will get red. So mohair irritates my skin. I feel I will wear it. I'm not sure yet. If I do not wear it, I think I will give it away to a friend, or I don't know. Anyway, this was my second finished object for January. And now we're going to the almost finished object in January. What I mean by that is that I really want to use my stas, and I'm keeping in mind all the projects I set it as a goal. Back in October, I already made a video with my autumn and winter plans, knitting plans. So I had bought a yarn, a snow from Drops, back in 2023, I think, because I wanted to make a pillow, a squishy pillow for my couch. So I bought this yarn and I never used it to make the pillow. I know this yarn is very popular at the moment because of the very popular pattern of the sailor slippers, I think it's the name. Well, I had the yarn to make the sailor slippers, but I live in a house where I do have carpets during the winter and it gets cold. And I'm sure slippers like those are very warm for your feet, but I have marble and I have wood floors and marble floors, and I don't think it's a good idea to wear something like that. I mean, I do not walk without any slippers, no, with my socks, because it's very slippery, and I have already injured myself by not being very careful. So I wouldn't do this, and I also don't like felted things. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of in at the moment to felt, but I do not like felt things. I don't know why. I feel like felted things have no movement, like they're too stiff. So I wouldn't make a garment or a scarf like that. It doesn't suit me. I don't think it's appropriate for the climate we have here in Greece. I mean, it's February and we have 18 degrees Celsius outside. It's not something that it would fit my everyday life, so I wouldn't make anything like that. So maybe I would try like a basket or something like that, but still it's not something that I would see myself doing or making. So I decided to go for a pillow, and it's a free pattern. I think the name is Tea and Honey from Drops, and it's knitted with snow yarn. So it's a free pattern. I almost finished with this, but I do not want to sew it together and put and insert the pillow inside. I prefer if I put a zipper, so I can use one of the inserts that I have for the pillows on my couch. So I haven't bought the zipper yet. And zippers and buttons are one of those things that I do not like to order because I cannot see the colors and I'm not sure about the size. So I will have to get the yarn to the shops I buy usually my zippers and test out what I want to buy and then sew it with my sewing machine. That's also a challenge because I have never ever tried to sew with my sewing machine on anything knitted, anything that I have knitted, and I really want to try it. I will definitely have to see some tutorials, but that's something I want to learn because I feel that sometimes this would be very easy for me. And those are all the 3 finished objects for the month of January. And now for the whips. I have said to my video with my plans for winter 2025 and autumn 2025 that I want to use my stash yarn, and one of those patterns that I wanted to do was my time sweater from Lily Kate France, and now it was the time to do it. So I had 10 skeins of the cotton merino from Drops in a kind of green, grey, green color, which I really like, but it's not the suggested yarn for this pattern. And I also had an alpaca, which is like, it calls it like gray green, but it's gray. I don't know why they call it like that. And I put those yarns together, and I tried to make my swatch with a 5.5 millimeter needles that the yarn suggests, but I didn't like my stitches. They were kind of very loose. I don't know why. Anyway, I decided to knit size 3 with a 5 millimeter needle. And now I'm at the moment that I'm not finished with the body, but I will stop and start with my arms and my sleeves. I'm sorry, with my sleeves. And this is because I'm not sure. I have, I think, 5 skeins of yarn left, and I want to be sure because these sleeves are kind of wide, and I want to make sure that I will have enough yarn for the sleeves, and then I will be able to control the hem and the body better if I know how much yarn I'm left, because this is yarn that I have from my stash, and I will not be able to find the dye lot that I have right now on my hands, and I do not like garments when they have a different dye lot on. I'm sorry. I maybe it seems like it's a picky thing, a strange thing, but I would rather unravel the whole project and knit something else instead of having a project with a different kind of dye lot that shows in your garment. So I want to be sure that I will have the yarn I need for this pattern. I have double checked because I've done it in the past, trying to make something and not having the correct amount of yarn that I needed, and this was a pain. I had this with my oleander sweater from Audrey Borrego, and this is a garment I will have to unravel and make again, but we will talk about this in another video. Anyway, this is my whip, and I don't know why I did that. I had in my stash, I do not remember the yarn, I think it's a blend of wool and polyester. This is the yarn I have used for my ranunculus blouse. I had, I think, almost 1 skein left, but then I had to remake and unravel a little bit of the ranunculus that I have already done, because I had very long sleeves and it was very long also on the body, and I used this yarn to make a Sophie scarf. The Sophie scarf, I have to say, I haven't bought the pattern for the Sophie scarf. I find it too easy for me to knit something like that, so I don't feel like I have to buy a pattern to make something like that. So I decided to make another Sophie scarf because I have already done another one with the same yarn, and I will probably give this away or sell it. I'm really trying to use the yarn I have in my stash to make things I like making, and that I think I will be able either to give away or to sell, because I cannot keep all those things I'm making for me, and that's a challenge because I have to balance what I like making with what I think I will be able to sell. So that's a challenge, but I feel like in this month I will be able to finish both of these whips, so I feel ready to move to spring, and I'm preparing myself because back in October I have shown you about my animal fibers yarn. I'm not counting the acrylic yarn because it's not so much, and I will probably use it for stuff around the house and not for garments. but I do have a lot of cotton yarn, which is something that it's a challenge for me to use, because most of the yarn I have is not on sweater or a garment quantity. I had this very bad idea to make things, crochet things, with a very thin lacy yarn, and I made one or two things, and then the skein was like full and couldn't use it for anything else. So I have to find and figure out how I'm going to use this yarn, because it's overwhelming, and I have said this before, it gives me great anxiety to have all this yarn. I really want to distash, and I'm dreaming and I'm hoping that I will be able to minimize at least half of the amount of yarn that I have now in my closet. I think I have done a very good job with my animal fiber yarns, and I will update you about this in upcoming video. But for the moment, I'm having a little bit in mind to see all my cotton yarn and gather it and know the quantities and write it down like I did with my animal fiber yarn, so that I will be able to find projects that I want to make, because probably not all the projects I'm going to make are going to be garments. Probably there will be things for the house or amigurumis and stuff like that. Anyway, that's something for future Ria to think. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.